Hey, preppies, Mr. Fantastic Ford here with Chapter 15, Picture Me Here. Joey Pigza, let's get it. First word on three. One. First word on three. One, two, three. The doctor had said I wouldn't be able to tell the patch was working, like I could with my old meds. He said it was a different kind of medicine and would take a while to kick in. But I swear, almost from the first patch, I could feel myself winding down like I was on a swing that was slowly stopping. When I told Special Ed this, he said it was a good sign because it probably meant I was getting the right dose of medicine at all times, and I would no longer have to feel hyper. Then feel near dead. Then hyper again. It was great because once I slowed way down and worked hard at the special ed center, everything else seemed to speed up. My last 2 weeks downtown zipped by quickly. And when I was ready to leave, it seemed that not much time had passed, but I had changed a lot. Still, not all of me had changed. No matter how smart the doctors are, or no matter what medication I take, I'll always be somewhere inside myself, wired wrong, and nothing can be done about it. I didn't make my own bed, but it's mine anyway, whether I like it or not. And as Special Ed said, you gotta face the hand you're dealt with and deal with it and make your problems be the smallest part of who you are. And he's right. My friend Charlie was getting ready to go too. He had built up the strength in one of his little hands so that they attached a plastic arm over it. And he could control almost real feeling soft plastic fingers on the end. After Special Ed said my stay was nearly over, I found Charlie and he shook my hand with his new one. And it was a great moment for me, but it was really great for him. Feel this, Pigza, he said, and he wiggled one of his fingers and tickled me inside of my hand. Awesome, I said. When do you get the other? In a few weeks, he replied. I'll let you know. We're the only Pigza in the phone book, I said. Call me and you can come over and meet Pablo. He made little dialing motions with his finger. Will do, he said. Finally, Mom and Special Ed met with Mrs. Jarzab and Mrs. Maxey, and they all agreed to let me back as long as I lived by the rules and took my medication. After the meeting, when Mom told me that I said, I love rules, and I did. I even made up dog rules for Pablo because he was chewing up stuff and pooping on the floor, and so I had to send him his own doggy special ed classes so he could learn how to only chew his dog toys and poop in the front yard. I was really happy that first day back because the special ed bus didn't stop at my front door anymore. I walked to school, and when I passed through the front doors, I walked down to the office. Can I see Mrs. Jarzab? I asked the secretary. Welcome back, she said. Have you been on vacation? No, I replied. Remember me? I cut off Marie's nose tip and was sent to the big special ed center and got a patch. Want to see? I think Mrs. Jarzab is very busy right now, Joey. She replied and reached across her desk and pulled my shirt back down. Can I help you with something? I want to say the Pledge of Allegiance over the loudspeaker, I said. I never did that before, and now I want to. Well, take a seat, she said, and I'll see what I can do. While I was waiting, Nurse Holyfield came by. I grinned at her as if I were a squinty Halloween pumpkin with light glowing out of his eyes, ears, and mouth. And she grinned right back. Don't tell me you're in trouble already, she said, and propped her hands on her hips. Now, no, I cried out, almost laughing. I'm the new and improved Joey. I lifted my shirt up. See this patch? I said, now watch this. I put my hands on my lap and I stared across the room at a painting of a clown with an old shoe for a hat. I didn't move my head an inch in any direction. I didn't even blink. After about a minute, she asked, well, what do you want me to watch? That was it, I said. Just me sitting still. Don't you get it? I'm better. She smiled. Oh, wonderful, she said. But now that you're better, I won't see you anymore. Oh, yes, you will, I said. I'll just come up to visit, but not throw up. You do that, she replied. The secretary returned and said, yes, Mrs. Jarzeb says you can say the pledge this morning. Way to go, Joey, Nurse Holyfield said. She looked up at the big clock. Gotta run. Gotta get the meds line set up. Give him the patch, I said. It's much better than the pills. I'll see what I can do, she said, and hurried down the hall. And before long, I was standing at the microphone with my hand over my heart saying, I pledge allegiance to the flag. When I finally added really loudly, my name is Joey Pigza, and I'm back. I wanted to say that everyone's nose was safe and not to worry, but Mrs. Jarzab snatched the microphone out of my hand and flicked off the volume. Still, I'm back, echoed down the hall like a giant's footsteps. And I loved the sound of it. Thank you, Mrs. Jarzab, I said, as she gave me a cross look. Now go see Mrs. Howard, she replied, before you were tardy on your first day back. The deal that Mrs. Jarzab and special ed worked out was that I had to go to regular school, special ed, for a week and prove that I wasn't a danger to myself and everyone on the planet until I got back to Mrs. Maxey's class. Plus, as special ed said to me, other kids' parents need to know that their kids aren't going to come home chopped to bits. Always think of the big picture, he said to me. Think of how everyone else feels too. I knew what he meant because I had seen with my own eyes how crazy Maria's dad got hurt after I hurt her. My mom would have felt the same way as if it was my nose that was cut off. So starting back with Mrs. Howard was okay with me because I had friends in special ed too. When I went down there, Mrs. Howard made a big fuss over me. Welcome back, she cried out and knelt down to give me a hug. You did a great job on the pledge. The moms were all there, and the special ed aides and all the kids, and everyone who turned and looked at me and said different things, but they all meant great to see you back. Now, don't get used to it down here, Mrs. Howard said to me. I'll be shipping you upstairs to your regular class in no time. I know, I said, smiling like a half-moon goon. I'm getting a second chance. You're a lucky boy, she said. We all need a second chance. She showed me my desk, and it really made me feel good not to have the rules taped to the top like Mrs. Maxey. Because I knew the rules. It wasn't that I never knew them. It was that I kept forgetting to stick to them. And Harold was still there. My birthday wish for him had not come true while I was away, or he'd be out of that neck brace and wheelchair, and we'd be playing football. Mrs. Howard was busy helping some other kids, so I just went up to Harold's mom. I'm back, I said. I lifted my shirt and showed her my patch. I've got new medicine. She was real nice. She put her arms around me and squeezed me good. You give me hope, Joey, she said. If you can do it, then maybe Harold can too someday. And it was amazing to me that she said what she said, because I never thought someone would ever point to me and say I gave them hope that someday their kid would be like me. When she told me that, I stood real still and looked her in the eye, like Mom taught me. Are you sure about that? I asked. Ever since the party, she said, when you blew out the candle for his wish, he has been looking for you. I looked over at Harold and he was just blowing little bubbles out of his mouth. And I didn't think he would ever get better. But because I got better, I wanted him to get better too. Then she said the nicest thing a non-family person has ever said to me. She said, you know, Joey, the medication has helped settle you down. But you have been a good kid all along. You are naturally good. I hope you know that about yourself. You have a good heart. When she said that, it was as if she had just blown out the candles on my cake. Thanks, I said. And I had to half turn away and wipe my eyes on my shoulder. Then I walked a little ways off as if I was going to do something else. But instead I slipped the old photo of me standing still out of my pocket and rubbed it between my thumb and forefinger. I'm not a bad kid, I thought. Then I went over to the bookshelf and picked out a book, and since no one was in the big quiet chair, I climbed up and sat down and began to read. All right, we did it, we did it, we did it. That's chapter 15 of Joey Pigza Swallows the Key. If you all have any questions or concerns or just want to holler at any of your teachers, we'll be available on Zoom for you all. You can catch me on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Meeting material will be posted in Google Classroom every morning. Check us out.